So the Andrew Cuomo saga is continuing right now as he's being boxed in by multiple investigations, one into sexual harassment allegations against him by former employees, and another one into his lowballing of nursing home death numbers to basically improve his image as he was selling a book. So it's pretty clear Andrew Cuomo is obviously a sociopath. Most politicians are. But from the stuff we're going to see in a second, it seems like he might be delusional too. So here's a pretty big thing. Both AOC and Jamaal Bowman, obviously both representatives in the state of New York, have both called on the resignation of Andrew Cuomo. So AOC sent out a tweet that reads, after 2 accounts of sexual assault, 4 accounts of harassment, the Attorney General's investigation finding the governor's admin hid nursing home data from the legislature and public, we agree with the 55 plus members of the New York State Legislature that the governor must resign. I believe Nadler also came out and said that he should resign. Recall that people like Hillary Clinton, Nancy Pelosi were saying that, hey, these charges or these allegations, I should say, of sexual harassment against Andrew Cuomo need to be taken seriously. They are definitely with and not without merit. So basically, people who are politicians are essentially forced to resign once their own colleagues start calling them out. So that means members of their own party. If you remember what happened to Al Franken, it was because Chuck Schumer and Kirsten Gillibrand, first of all, Kirsten Gillibrand called on him to resign, and then Chuck Schumer refused to even allow him to have, a due process investigation. So he was forced to resign. So that's when you get boxed in. So Cuomo's getting boxed in basically from every direction, right? Multiple investigations. Do recall that there was a scandal on top of a scandal in the situation with the sexual harassment allegations because he was attempting to appoint the person who would investigate him rather than allowing the AG to run an independent investigation. Again, this is Andrew Cuomo is very Trump-like, right? This is extremely Trumpian, very, very clearly very Trumpian. But it appears he's saying he's not going to resign. But here's what I mean by when I say that, man, he seems delusional. He says, I am not part of the political club. And he was saying, New Yorkers know me. So him saying he's not part of the political club is hilarious because his dad was the governor, the former governor of New York. So automatically it's a dynastic, family. Remember, Chris Cuomo only has that job at CNN because of, obviously Mario and, Andrew. He was also part of Clinton's administration as well in the past. So he has a very clear, political associations with all of these people. And I think it really has to tell you just how bad it is for him if all of his, own allies are to turn against him. What does that say about him? What does that mean? You know what I'm saying? So that is definitely a pretty big deal here. But here it says, Defiant Cuomo won't resign, bow to, quote, cancel culture. So I guess we're going with the cancel culture route here. So it says, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo said Friday he would not resign from office in face of mounting allegations of sexual misconduct hours after most Democratic members of Congress from his home state urged him to quit. In a hastily scheduled conference call with reporters at Cuomo's office billed as a regular update on the coronavirus pandemic, Cuomo criticized the growing number of politicians from his own party who have called on him to resign. Quote, politicians who don't know a single fact, but yet form a conclusion and opinion are, in my opinion, reckless and dangerous. The people of New York should not have confidence in a politician who takes an opinion without knowing the facts and substance. People know the difference between playing politics, bowing to cancel culture, and the truth. Let the review proceed. I'm not going to resign. I was not elected by the politicians. I was elected by the people. So, remember, the politicians were also elected by people, by the way, just so you know. But, it's basically the entire party almost at this point, especially in New York. It's like the entire New York Democratic Party almost calling on him to resign. So it's a him versus the world situation. But he's saying, let the review process go on. Let it continue. Dude, you tried blocking the review process in the first place. You were the one who was trying to subvert an independent investigation into you in the first place. Love how you're all high and mighty now. Oh, let this whole thing go through. It's laughable. Says, I'm not part of the political club, and you know what? I'm proud of it. That seems to be a pretty clear one. Says 14 members of New York's congressional delegation, including House Ways and Means Committee Chairman Jerry Nadler, Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee Chairman Senator Sean Patrick Maloney, and Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez issued coordinated statements Friday morning calling on Cuomo to quit. Their statements came after an aide to the governor said Cuomo had groped her inside the governor's mansion last year. So basically, the walls are closing in on Cuomo. His presidential chances are over. I don't know whether or not he's going to make it out of this. I'm not really sure. And, you know, if he does, he obviously won't get reelected again. But eventually he has to be forced to resign. I mean, for him, the best strategy would probably have to be essentially to try to outlive this scandal and just continue somehow. I don't know how he could do that. But, yeah, you know, the walls are closing in on Cuomo as everybody in the Democratic Party is calling on him to resign.